Hello and welcome to the second lecture of Grammar 2. I hope you are getting used now to what verb forms we use after modals, after have, after verb to be. After have, it's always the past participle. After verb to be, it's either the past participle or the present participle. And after modals, it's always the base form of the verb. عايزاكوا يعني ما تبقوش بتفكروا ايه اللي هحطه بعد verb to be ولا ايه اللي هحطه بعد have ولا ايه اللي هحطه بعد having. Any form of have should have the past participle of the verb. Any modal should have the base form. Any form of verb to be should have either the present participle, if it is a verb, or in a continuous form, or the past participle if the verb is passive. Okay? Now, we are going to talk today about something different. You remember last time I told you do not worry about tenses. ما كانش مهم عندي ان انتوا يعني مش مهم في الاول ناخد بالي من الازمنه. الازمنه دي هنتكلم عنها دلوقتي، لكن اخد بالي دايما ان انا بعد have لازم هيجي ال past participle. بعد verb to be it's either the past participle or the present participle، وبفكر ساعتها في المعنى. subject اللي عندي او الاسم اللي عندي في الاول ده does it do the action or does it receive the action. ودايما لما يبقى عندي modal، وعرفنا ايه هو المودل اللي هو it does the function of an auxiliary verb, a helping verb. يعني ما اقول مثلا can you come early، ده زي بالظبط ما اقول do you come early. لكن can it does the work of do but at the same time it has the meaning of being able to do something. بعد اي modal لازم بيبقى عندي the base form of the verb. خدوا بالكم من دي بحيث انها تبقى يعني شيء تلقائي واحنا بنتكلم او واحنا بنكتب، ان انا عارفه ان ما ينفعش مثلا اني اقول have drank ولا has finishes. alright. طيب تعالوا بقى دلوقتي we are going to talk today about tenses. Let us look at lecture 2, the first part of lecture 2. Problems with the use of the verb. هنبتدي نتكلم النهارده بقى على tenses. Now, number 1, when to use the past with the present. دي نقطة، دي النقط اللي هنتكلم عنها. يعني these are the problems with the use of the verb that we're going to talk about. Number 1. All right, let's look at the first problem now. Problems with the use of the verb. There are a number of problems that have to do with using the verb. Right. We're going to look at 4 problems. They are almost all. When to use the past with the present. This is one thing. Using have and had correctly. يعني using have and had correctly. انتوا عارفين ان with have and had I always use the past participle, but have will give me one tense and had will give me another tense. امتى استعمل ده وامتى استعمل ده. Number 3, using the correct tense with time expressions. Time expressions. في كلمات أو تعبيرات that tell me about the time. What tense do I use? Number 4, using the correct tense with will and would. هنشوف دي معناها ايه. طيب أول حاجة بقى using the past with the present. يعني ايه اني استعمل الماضي، الزمن الماضي مع الزمن الحاضر. شوف. The rule is do not switch from the past tense to the present tense. ما ينفعش ان انا يعني I should not go from past to present or from present to past. If I'm talking about the past, it's past. If I'm talking about the present, it's present. When a sentence has both a past tense and a present tense, it's often incorrect. عادة بتبقى غلط. إلا في حالات هنقولها كمان شوية. He took my car when he needs it. طيب يعني أنا قلت لكم في أول محاضرة إن this term we have to think about meaning. It's not just the structure of the sentence، مش بناء الجملة بس، مش إن أنا ممكن أعمل الجرامر صح زي المرة اللي فاتت من غير ما أبقى حتى عارفة المعنى. لا، هنا لما أقول he took my car when he needs it، يعني فكروا فيها كده. He took my car this is past tense. When he needs it this is present tense. وبعدين أنا لما أقول when he needs it present simple tense this is a repeated action in the present. فعل بيتكرر في الحاضر، لكن he took it's only one instance، مرة واحدة. طيب this sentence is meaningless، ملهاش معنى. An action done in the past اللي هو took cannot be the result of an action in the present. The sentence can be corrected in two ways. يا إما تبقى كلها past tense، يعني he took my car when he needed it، يا إما he takes my car when he needs it. الاتنين هيبقوا صح. The first sentence has a logical meaning. He took my car when he needed it. أنا بتكلم على حادثة واحدة، أو ممكن حاجة كانت بتتكرر كل مرة كان بيحتاج العربية كان بياخدها. The second sentence also has a logical meaning. It means that an action is habitual or repeated. He takes my car when he needs it. Every time he needs it he takes it. والتاني he took my car when he needed it. ممكن يبقى ليها معنيين هنا على فكرة، يعني يبقى مرة واحدة خدها لما احتاجها، وممكن يبقى كانت تكرار برضو. He took my car when he needed it يعني every time he needed it. طيب. It's also logical for a sentence in English to have both the past and the present tense. أحيانا بقى زي ما قلت لكم it's usually wrong when a sentence has one verb in the past and another in the present. لكن ممكن يبقى من المنطقي برضو ان يبقى عندي جملة فيها الاتنين. يعني ما اقول I know that he took my car yesterday. I know this is present tense. That he took my car yesterday, the action itself is past tense. Alright? طيب. I know now. Now, using the past with the present، ايه بقى اللي ممكن استعمل فيه الماضي مع الحاضر؟ طيب نقول اولا a sentence with one verb in the present and one verb in the past is probably incorrect. غالبا ما بتكون غلط. But it is possible for a correct sentence to have both past and present. زي اللي فاتت دي I know that he took my car yesterday. If you have past and present together, check the meaning to determine if the sentence is correct. لازم اخد بالي من المعنى عشان احدد اذا كانت الجملة صح ولا غلط. طيب let's look at exercise 33. Each sentence has at least one verb in the past and one in the present. Underline the verbs and decide if the sentences are correct or incorrect. طيب احنا هنعمل دول orally وبعدين هنبص على الانسر كي. I take him to the bank when he asks me to. يعني انا كنت فاكرة ان ممكن اكتب، بس طلع لانه باوربوينت ما ينفعش ازود عليه، فنشرح مع بعض. I take him to the bank when he asks me to. الاتنين present tense. I take him when he asks. يعني every time he asks I take him. This is correct. I know that you were upset. I have I know present. You were upset. You were past tense. لكن أنا I know now that you were upset some time ago. امبارح مثلا ولا حاجة. It's correct. When I was a child, I always have a toothache. when I was a child, past tense. I always have a toothache. I always have a toothache. This is present tense. And I'm talking about a time which is past. But this is wrong. I always had a toothache. Time. Last term, past tense. I attend is present. I attend 7 courses. كنت بحضر 7 كورسات. But sit 5 exams. لكن حضرت الامتحان في 5. طيب أنا عندي حاجة بتقولي last term. This is past tense. يبقى I should use the past simple tense. Last term is past time. يبقى I should use past tense. Last term I attended 7 courses but sat 5 exams. He wakes up early every morning because he wakes up early every morning. I'm talking about a habitual action in the present. كل يوم بيصحى بدري. Because he went to work early. يبقى برضو this is a habitual action in the present. يبقى because he goes to work early. Ahmed studied. Past tense. Past time. Studied. يعني بصوا خدوا بالكم ان there is a distinction between time and tense. لأن there are tenses which we use for different times. Time. هنعرف ده بعدين. Ahmed studied. This is past tense and past time. Studied at Ain Shams University when he is in Cairo. طيب. Studied at Ain Shams University, past tense. When he is present tense. طبعا this is incorrect. فهتبقى when he was in Cairo. He is telling his boss why he did not come in time. طيب دي صح. Because I'm thinking about the meaning here. He is telling his boss. He's telling his boss now. بيقول له دلوقتي why he did not come in time. This is past tense. He's telling now about something in the past. يبقى he's telling his boss. بيقول للمدير بتاعه why he did not come in time. ما جاش في الوقت المناسب ليه. He put some money in his account when he goes to the bank. بصوا بقى. Put الفعل ده put. هنا بقى أنا لازم أحدد. أنا ممكن أقول he put some money in his account. إذا قلت he put يبقى هتبقى past tense. يبقى لازم الفعل التاني يبقى past tense. He put some money in his account when he goes ولا when he went. إذا كانت دي past تبقى دي past. He put some money in his account when he went to the bank. يا إما كان ممكن أقول he put some money in his account. يبقى خليها he puts some money in his account when he goes to the bank. He puts some money in his account when he goes to the bank. يبقى this is a habitual action in the present. كل مرة بيروح البنك بيحط شوية فلوس في الحساب بتاعه. He keeps working hard because he intended to buy a house. He keeps working hard. This is present tense. Because he intended ولا because بقى he intends. Because he intends to buy a house. وكان ممكن برضو يبقى كلها في الماضي. He kept working hard because he intended. Alright? المهم ان الاثنين يبقوا في زمن واحد لان المعنى هنا ما ينفعش ان واحد يبقى في الماضي واحد في الحاضر. He now holds this important job because he worked hard when he was a student. طيب أنا عندي هنا 3 أفعال. He worked hard when he was a student. He's not a student anymore. He's working now. طيب He now holds this important job. عنده الوظيفة الكويسة دي دلوقتي. Holds present tense because this is present time. I'm talking about present time, which is the result of something in the past. It's the result of the fact that he worked hard when he was a student. يبقى الجملة دي is correct. طيب. Alright, let's look at the next point, the next problem with the verb. Use have and had correctly. طيب. You know that have is the present form and had is a past form. طيب. احنا دلوقتي عارفين ان في 33 we talked about simple forms. We were talking about the simple present and the simple past. طيب, here زي ما عندنا simple present and simple past, with have we have tenses that we call perfect tenses, the perfect tenses. برضو have is the present form, فهيبقى with have you have the present perfect, and with had which is the past form هيبقى عندي برضو past perfect. الاتنين زي ما احنا عارفين with all forms of have we use the past participle of the verb. طيب, let's read this. Have is used with the present perfect اللي هو have plus the past participle. احنا عارفين خلاص ان دايما لما بقول have لازم وراها ال past participle. And had is used with the past perfect, which is had plus the past participle. These two sentences are sometimes confused, and you should know how they are used. أحيانا الناس بتلخبط فيهم، نشوف بنستعملهم ازاي. طيب. The present perfect is used to refer to a period from the past until the present. Present perfect ده الوقت اللي بيمتد فيه هو من امتى؟ من الماضي لغاية الحاضر. يعني ما اقول I have lived in Cairo for 20 years. For 20 معنى الجملة ايه؟ I have lived in Cairo for 20 years. يعني انا مثلا دلوقتي سنة 80 يبقى انا عايشة في القاهرة من سنة 60. يبقى I'm talking about a period which started in the past and continues until the present. الحاجة اللي ابتدت من الماضي ولسه مستمرة لغاية الحاضر استعمل معاها ايه؟ the present perfect. I have lived in Cairo for 20 years. This sentence means that I started living in Cairo 20 years ago and that I'm still living there. It's not correct to use the present perfect for a sentence that refers to a specific time in the past. يعني ايه بقى a specific time in the past؟ ما اقدرش استعمل ال present perfect عشان اتكلم على حاجة حصلت في وقت محدد في الماضي. مادام انا هتعرفوا القاعدة دي. If you define a certain time in the past، لو حددت وقت معين في الماضي يبقى لازم استعمل ال past simple. A revolution has started on January 25th. طيب مش انا حددت وقت معين ده اللي هو January 25th يبقى ما اقدرش اقول has started، لازم اقول ايه؟ started. A revolution started on January 25th. Every time I went abroad, I have missed Egypt. لا، أنا بتكلم على حاجة كانت بتحصل في الماضي. Every time I went abroad، كل مرة كنت ببعد عن مصر كانت بتوحشني ده برضو في الماضي، لأن أنا حددت الوقت. Every time I went abroad، this is past time. يبقى I missed Egypt. طيب both sentences refer to a certain time in the past اللي هو every time I went abroad، والتانية كانت ايه افكركم؟ on January the 25th. And the verb indicates a period of time from the past until the present. ده الفعل اللي مستعمل عندي. اللي هو present perfect. This is not logical. When a certain time is referred to in the past, إذا حددت وقت معين في الماضي, the verb should be in the past tense and not in the present perfect, which refers to both past and present time. The past perfect, which is had plus the past participle, refers to a period of time that started in the past and ended in the past before something else happened. Before something else happened. المفروض انها تتصلح بس لان دي سلايدز بقول لكم مش هعرف اصلحها. Also in the past. طيب في حاجة مهمة أحب أقولها لكم. You have always thought, يعني ده الجرامر اللي عادة الناس اتعلمته، إن ال past perfect اللي كنتوا بتقولوا عليه الماضي التام ده حاجة للحاجات القديمة قوي، وال past simple للحاجات القريبة شوية. لا بصوا، even when you're talking about thousands of years ago، يعني لو بتكلم على الفراعنة مش هقعد بقى لأن الفراعنة من زمان، يعني I'm not going to use the past perfect because this is very old time. No. هفضل دايما استعمل ال past simple. I use the past perfect in one instance، في حالة واحدة بس. هقولها تاني اهو اللي نقراه. It's a period of time that started in the past and ended in the past. بدت وانتهت في الماضي before something else happened also in the past. يعني ايه؟ لازم يكون عندي بتكلم على two actions that depended on each other، ليهم علاقة ببعض. يعني أنا لو قاعدة أحكي على حكاية حصلت من سنين طويلة كتير، أفضل أتكلم بالباست سيمبل. لكن لما يكون عندي جملة فيها حدثين، واحد أقدم وواحد أجدد في جملة واحدة، يعني الاتنين مرتبطين ببعض، يبقى القديم اللي حصل الأول يبقى في الباست perfect and the one which is nearer to the future or the one which started when the first one ended هو اللي يبقى في الباست simple. نشوف كده. I had lived in Alexandria for 10 years when I have moved to Cairo. لا، ما اقدرش استعمل هنا ال present perfect اللي هو have moved. I am talking about something that started and ended before something else happened also in the past. يبقى الفعل التاني ده يبقى في past simple. يعني ما اقول I had lived in Alexandria for 10 years when I moved to Cairo، يعني انا كان بقالي عايشة في اسكندرية 10 سنين وخلصوا ال10 سنين وبعدين انا اتنقلت للقاهرة. يبقى الفعل اللي ابتدى وانتهى قبل ما الفعل التاني يبتدي وينتهي برضه في الماضي يبقى ده في الباست بيرفكت والتاني في الباست سيمبل، وهنشوف جمل كتير تبين لنا الكلام ده. Because the past perfect begins and ends in the past, it's generally not correct in the same sentence with the present perfect. The verb should be moved. طيب برضو I had finished work when they come to visit. لا، when they came to visit. This sentence is illogical, غير منطقية. Both actions happened in the past. The second verb should be came. I had finished work. أنا كنت خلصت شغل خلاص، يعني أنا انتهيت من الشغل وبعدين هما جم يزوروني. يبقى الفعل الأولاني اللي خلص يبقى في الباست بيرفكت، والفعل الماضي برضو اللي حصل بعديه يبقى في الباست simple. I had finished work when they came to visit. طيب let's look at exercise 34. Each of the following sentences contains have or had. Underline the verbs and decide if the meanings are logical and indicate if the sentences are correct or incorrect. برضو بقول لكم because we have other colors we are not underlining. طيب. I have always liked the students who are in my class. الفعل عندي ايه؟ have always liked the students who are in my class. طيب. This is correct. لأن أنا بتكلم على حاجة كانت بتحصل في الماضي وبتحصل دلوقتي. I have always liked the students who are in my class. يبقى استعمل ايه؟ present perfect. Because their project المشروع بتاعهم had been rejected, they are depressed. Because their project had been rejected, هو اترفض فعلا, they are depressed. بصوا هنا ممكن اقول الجملة دي صح لان they are still depressed, لكن ممكن برضه اقول they were depressed. طيب الاثنين صح, وده اللي بقول لكم ان دايما يعني you have to think about meanings. Think of the situation in which the sentence was said. Because their project had been rejected, هو اترفض خلاص. They are depressed, هم دلوقتي مكتئبين. ممكن تبقى they were depressed وممكن تبقى they are depressed. الاثنين صح. She has registered for the course before the term started. أنا برضو هقول لكم الإجابة الصح, لكن because it's a slide I will not be able to correct it in writing. She has registered for the course before the term started. The term started, ها? وهي كانت سجلت قبل الترم ما يبدأ, يبقى كل حاجة امتى؟ في الماضي. وفي حاجة حصلت قبل ما يعني registering started and ended before the term started. يبقى الحاجة اللي بدت وانتهت قبل ما حاجة تانية ابتدت في الماضي برضو, يبقى لازم تبقى ايه؟ has started دي مفروض تبقى ايه؟ she has registered, لا she had registered. She had registered for the course before the term started, يعني قبل ما بدأ الترم هي كانت بالفعل سجلت. When they had bought the house, they signed for the insurance. دايما the tense which is used tells me a lot about the meaning in the sentence. يعني أنا هنا لما أقول when they had bought the house يعني معناها إن ده حصل الأول, يعني معناها إن هم اشتروا البيت الأول. They signed for the insurance, مضوا بوليصة التأمين, مضوا أو اشتركوا في التأمين. They signed for the insurance. يبقى إيه اللي حصل الأول؟ اللي حصل الأول اللي في ال past perfect, buying the house. They had bought the house. بعد كده action number 2, they signed for the insurance. The plane had taken off when I arrived at the airport. I arrive أنا بتكلم على حاجة ماضي. The plane had taken off, أقلعت فعلا. When I arrived يبقى when I arrived. وافهم إن الجملة دي معناها إيه؟ إن the plane taking off ده حصل الأول, يعني الطيارة كانت أقلعت and then I arrived. I did not find the plane. هي taken off أقلعت يعني طارت خلاص لما أنا وصلت. arrived دي هتبقى arrived. She has got good marks every time that she has sat for an exam. لا, every time that she, and I'm talking about past tense. She has got good marks every time she has sat for an exam. مش أنا هنا بتكلم على وقت ماضي وانتهى وكان بيتكرر كمان, وما هماش فعلين مرتبطين ببعض. لا, ده كل مرة كانت بتدخل امتحان كانت بتاخد نمر كويسة. يبقى ايه؟ she got good marks every time she sat for an exam. She got good marks every time she sat for an exam. مفيش has sat ومفيش has got، لأن I do not use the present perfect. مش هستعمل present perfect لحاجة كانت بتتكرر في الماضي. الحاجة اللي بحكيها على حاجة كانت بتتكرر في الماضي بستعمل ال past simple. أنا بستعمل ال past perfect بس لما يكون عندي فعلين مرتبطين ببعض، واحد ابتدى وانتهى في الماضي لما واحد تاني في الماضي برضو حصل. يبقى she got good marks every time she sat for an exam. He drove to work after he had taken the children to school. صح الجملة دي، عندي فعلين في الماضي وافكر كده، هو ودى الولاد المدرسة وبعدين he drove to work، طلع على الشغل بتاعه. يبقى taking the children to school should be in the past perfect tense. He had taken the children to school. بعد كده المنطقي طبعا إنه هو ودى الولاد المدرسة. He had taken the children to school. Then action number 2 يبقى في past simple he drove to work. مش عايزاكوا تفكروا انتوا دايما تقولوا انا شخصيا I never remember this. دايما انتوا بتقولوا بعد after نستعمل مش عارفة ايه، وقبل وبعد before نستعمل ايه. لا، always think of the past perfect and past simple in this manner. فكروا دايما فيها بالطريقة دي، ان في فعل حصل الاول وفي فعل حصل بعديه. الفعل اللي حصل الاول لان انا ممكن يبقى عندي حاجات غير after و before. الفعل اللي حصل الاول يبقى في past perfect، والفعل اللي تلاه يبقى في past simple. طيب when the votes were counted، لما الاصوات اتعدت it had been determined that he was the winner. طيب أنا ممكن هنا يبقى عندي يعني a number of correct answers. ممكن أقول طيب هما الأول عدوا الأصوات وبعدين قرروا إن هو الفائز، يبقى عدوا الأصوات دي، يبقى مفروض إني أنا أقولها when the votes had been counted. past perfect had been counted، بعدها اتحدد ان هو الفائز، يبقى اقول when the votes had been counted it past simple بقى لان ده action number 2 it was determined that he was the winner. when the votes had been counted it was determined that he was the winner. وممكن اعتبر ان انا مجرد ان انا بحكي على حاجة ومش بحكي احداث حصلت في الماضي ومش مرتبطين قوي بان واحد حصل الاول والتاني حصل بعدين، فممكن اقول when the votes were counted it was determined that he was the winner. last week all employees have worked overtime. طيب هنا بقى I cannot use either the present perfect اللي هو عندي اهو have worked or the past perfect اللي هو had worked. ليه؟ يعني اولا انا بقول last week يبقى I'm defining a certain time or a certain point in the past. when you define a certain point in the past you have to use the past simple tense. last week all employees worked overtime. ما اقولش had worked overtime لان انا ما عنديش فعلين واحد منهم حصل الاول وبعدين حصل واحد التاني، لا. all employees worked overtime. I had paid the check before it was due. ده معناه ايه؟ ان انا كان عندي شيك مستحق وقبل ما يستحق انا كنت دفعته، يبقى paying the check is action number 1. هيبقى في الايه في past perfect. I had paid the check مثلا on the 1st of November. It was due on the 10th. يبقى ايه اللي كان ايه اللي ماضي اقدم اللي هو paying the check. It was due on the 5th اللي هو فات من كام يوم ده، فهيبقى برضو past tense. I had paid the check before it was due. طيب. Let's look at the third problem with the verb. Use the correct tense with time expressions. يعني ايه time expressions? A time expression in a sentence often indicates what tense to use. يعني ايه time expression؟ لما اقول they moved to Cairo in 1980. In 1980 is a time expression. In 1970 is a time expression. Last October is a time expression. Alright? They moved to Cairo in 1980. أنا هنا بقول في وقت محدد. وقت محدد أهو. سنة 80. يبقى لازم استعمل ايه؟ past simple tense. لكن بصوا على الجملة اللي جاية دي. They had left Alexandria by 1980. By 1980 يعني ايه؟ على سنة يعني by the time it was 1980 يعني قبلها كانوا هما سابوا اسكندرية. يبقى ايه؟ حاجة حصلت قبل 1980 ما تيجي. يبقى by 1980 معناها ان حاجة حصلت قبل كده، يبقى استعمل ال past perfect tense. They had left Alexandria by 1980. طيب they have lived in Cairo since 1980. Since 1980. Since is a time expression. بتقول لي ايه؟ since دي معناها ايه؟ from a certain time in the past until now. طيب if you're talking about a time from the past until the present, which tense do you use? You use the present perfect اللي هو they have lived. We started the term last month. Last month is a certain time in the past, a specific moment in the past. يبقى استعمل لها ايه؟ the past simple. I changed my job 2 years ago. 2 years ago. 2 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 hours ago. This is past simple tense because it is a certain moment in the past. ولا 2000 years ago. Ago دي دايما simple استعمل معها simple past. I have worked very hard lately. Lately دي بقى. I should have underlined this. I have worked very hard lately. طيب. Lately معناها ايه؟ مؤخرا. Lately means sometime in the past until now. Lately يعني مثلا these past 2 months until now. يبقى استعمل انهي زمن؟ present perfect. have worked. يعني هو ده المفروض يتخطط. have worked ده الفعل، و lately this is the time expression, but because as I'm telling you it's a slideshow I cannot change things. طيب. Let's look at exercise 35. Each sentence contains a time expression. في time expression هيقول لي استعمل ايه؟ مش هيقول لي استعمل ايه يعني افكر في معناه قبل ما اقول ان مع ده بستعمل كذا ومع ده بستعمل كذا. طيب. She knocked incessantly at the door last night. عندي last night a certain point in the past يبقى لازم استعمل ايه؟ knocked, which is past tense. This is a correct sentence. They had finished inviting everyone last month. إذا أنا بقول last month يبقى which tense should I use? I do not have 2 actions. I do not have 2 verbs. يبقى they finished inviting everyone last month. They finished inviting everyone last month. World War I, or the First World War, has ended in 1919. أنا بتكلم على إيه؟ In 1919 this is a time in the past. يبقى استعمل إيه؟ I'm not referring to the present عشان استعمل present perfect. يبقى استعمل إيه؟ past أو simple past اللي هو First World War ended in 1919. Since the new law was passed, شوفوا بقى, since معناها from a certain time in the past until now. Since the new law was passed, يعني since the time the new law was passed, اتسن القانون ده ولا خرج القانون ده, من أول ما خرج القانون ده, من أولها لغاية دلوقتي it has been illegal to build on cultivated land. It has been illegal to build on cultivated land has been present perfect, لأن من أول اللي حصل ده في الماضي لغاية دلوقتي, يعني this is past time continuing until present time, يبقى استعمل ايه؟ present perfect. It has been illegal, أصبح من غير القانوني البناء على الأرض المزروعة. The money was deposited 2 days ago. Ago يبقى past simple tense. Was deposited. Was deposited. All the votes have been counted last week. ازاي اقول last week واقول have been counted؟ It's past tense. يبقى اقول all the votes were counted last week. طيب انا عايزه اقول لكم حاجه كتير قوي in English we use the present perfect as long as for things which started and ended in the past, as long as we do not say when. يعني الجمل دي اللي فيها ago مثلا, the money was deposited 2 days ago. لو ما كنتش قلت 2 days ago ممكن اقول the money was, انا عايزه بقى اقولها present perfect فهتبقى has, ويجي التصريف الثالث been, the money has been deposited. ما دام ما قلتش امتى. وهنا برضو all the votes have been counted last week, لا, ممكن اقول all the votes were counted last week, لكن لو ما قلتش last week ممكن اقول all the votes have been counted. As long as you do not define a certain point in the past, you can use the present perfect for past actions as well. بس ما اقولش وقت معين في الماضي. طيب the students are working very hard lately. Lately دي قلنا يعني it tells me about a time that started in the past and continues until now. يبقى استعمل أنهي زمن؟ not present continuous but present perfect. Then present perfect starts in the past and continues until the present. The students have been working. The students have been working very hard lately. أو ممكن أقول have worked. The students have worked very hard lately. The parliament votes on the existing law in 2010. 2010, this is past time. يبقى استعمل له ايه؟ past tense. We use the simple past. يبقى the parliament voted on the existing law in 2010. طيب by the time, بصوا بقى, by the time, على ما جه الوقت, by the time the film started all the audience had arrived. بصوا أفكر يعني I should think about the sequence of the actions. By the time the film started, على ما ابتدى الفيلم, all the audience had arrived. هو ايه اللي حصل الأول؟ اللي حصل الأول إن المتفرجين وصلوا، يبقى وصولهم ده يبقى في الإيه؟ في الباست بيرفكت. بعدها الفيلم ابتدى، يبقى this is had arrived is action number 2 action number 1 and started is action number 2. Action number 1 past perfect, action number 2 simple past. I had not seen them since we met on Wednesday. طيب أنا بتكلم على إيه دلوقتي؟ معنى الكلام إيه؟ معنى الكلام إن أنا قابلتهم يوم الأربعاء، ومن يوم الأربعاء لغاية دلوقتي ما شفتهمش. alright؟ طيب يبقى أنا بتكلم على إيه؟ I'm talking about something that started on Wednesday and continues until today. يبقى I should use not the past perfect tense, had not seen, but I should use the present perfect tense. يبقى I have not seen them since we met on Wednesday. Okay? Done. Now, use the correct tense with will and would. It's very common in English to use the simple present with will. And it's also common to use the past tense with would, the present, the simple past with would. طيب بصوا بقى. I know that they will come soon. I know, present, that they will come soon. It is certain that demonstrations will continue. Present tense with will. Now, it's also common to use the simple past with would. يعني لو نفس الجملة دي بقول I know that they will come، هقولها هنا I knew that they would come. It is certain that demonstrations will continue. يبقى it was certain، ما دام قلت it was certain that demonstrations مش هقول will بقى، هقول would continue. طيب avoid the combination of the past with will and the combination of the present with would because they are illogical. تعالوا نشوف كده. ينفع أقول I knew that they will come ولا it was certain that demonstrations will continue؟ لا. With will you use the present, with would you use the past. لكن note that there is a different type of would which is used to make polite requests. عارفين لما أقول would you like or could I come tomorrow? Would you like to have a ticket to the cinema? هنا أنا بستعمل could و would، بستعملهم واستعمل معاهم present، لكن these are used for polite speaking or polite requests. نشوف الجمل دي. I would like to know. I would like. It's a polite form of saying I like to know. Oh, I want to know. لا, I would like to know if I can have my annual leave in August. Here you are making a polite request. Would here is for politeness, not for time. Type. Let's look at exercise 36. Each of the following sentences contains will or would. Underline the verbs and decide if the meanings are correct. Indicate if the sentences are correct or not. Let's look at that in the answer key. We have it in the answer key. طيب. That's the one. I knew that he will be willing to help. ما أقولش I knew that he will be. I knew that he would be. I think that he will leave tomorrow. This is correct. They did not say when. That's past tense. يبقى when they would come. I doubt that the person I will vote for would make it. Would make it لازم يبقى فيه هنا make it. يبقى فيه it. I doubt that the person I will vote for would make it. لا, I'm talking about present time and future time. يبقى would هتبقى will. I think that I will go if I can afford it. This is correct. The police officer said that he said يبقى that he would write a ticket. دي صح. This is correct. If I do not, لا, if I did not fasten my seat belt. Students will register before they start attending classes. Will and start. طيب. Number 8, he said that he thought مش he will بقى, he thought he would get the job because he was the most qualified candidate. The party, الحزب, emphasized that the members, emphasized past tense, will not change, يبقى would not change their position. مش هيغيروا موقفهم. Students will register in programs according to who has the highest marks. Will register according to who has. Will and has present with will. All right? Time. This completes our second lecture. I hope you are not confusing tenses together. And see you for the third lecture next time, inshallah. Best of luck. Thank you.